In the next report, Ragini Sudhir Chaure takes a deep dive into a new great game being played in a tiny sliver of land that's located in the heart of Asia, bordering 5 countries. Here's everything you need to know about the Wakhan Corridor and its geopolitical significance.
In the heart of Asia lies a remote stretch of land, so narrow and isolated, it's often referred to as Afghanistan's chicken neck. This is the Wakhan Corridor, a thin sliver of earth that has quietly been at the center of the world's longest-running geopolitical rivalries. Just 13 kilometers wide at its narrowest point, this strategic corridor links Afghanistan to China's far western Xinjiang region, while separating Tajikistan to the north from Pakistan's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province and India's Ladakh to the south. Though it's sparsely populated, with just 15,000 people scattered across a 350-kilometer stretch, the Wakhan Corridor has become an increasingly coveted piece of land. And today, it's attracting the attention of none other than China as the world's rising superpower seeks to expand its influence in the region. On 8th January 2025, 3 high-ranking Chinese military officers made an unusual visit to the Wakhan Corridor, accompanied by Taliban militia. It marked another chapter in an intensifying relationship between Beijing and the Taliban. The Chinese delegation stayed for several days, a clear sign that China's interest in the corridor is far from just symbolic. As China seeks to extend its global reach, its growing influence over the Taliban and the region's strategic assets could reshape the balance of power in Asia. The Wakhan Corridor may appear remote, but for China, it holds immense importance, both economically and militarily. Despite its relatively quiet and untouched landscape, the Wakhan Corridor is the key to a much larger ambition, the revitalization of the ancient Silk Road, a network of trade routes that once connected China to Europe. And now, China's Belt and Road Initiative is eyeing this very corridor as the next vital link. For centuries, this strip of land was a lifeline for trade between Central Asia, South Asia, and China. In the 4th century BCE, Alexander the Great passed through this very region on his journey to South Asia. Centuries later, Marco Polo would traverse these same mountains on his way to China. But it was the imperial powers of the 19th century that truly gave birth to the modern configuration of the Wakhan Corridor. As the British Empire and the Tsarist Russia wailed for control over Central Asia, in what became known as the Great Game, the Wakhan Corridor was carved out as a buffer zone, meant to separate British India from the Russian Empire. And while it's been more or less a remote backwater since then, the corridor's strategic importance has only grown. In 1873, the border between the British and the Russian Empire was formalized along the Panj and Pamir rivers, creating the land we now call the Wakhan Corridor. Then, in 1893, the Durand Line Agreement set the boundary between Afghanistan and British India, effectively sealing the corridor's role as a geopolitical buffer zone. The Soviet Union too would lay claim to this region during its 1979 invasion of Afghanistan. The corridor, though remote, was crucial in their efforts to maintain control over Afghanistan's northern border. And despite its isolation, the Wakhan Corridor remained a relatively calm region during the Afghan civil war of the 1990s and the following decades of Taliban insurgency. Today, with the Taliban once again in power, the Wakhan Corridor has come under their effective control. And while many may have dismissed it as a forgotten region, China sees it as a new front in the race for regional dominance. In 2023, following the Taliban's takeover, the Taliban's acting foreign minister Amir Khan Muttaqi met with Chinese officials in Tibet, discussing opening up the Wakhan Corridor for trade between the two nations. And within weeks, the Taliban made an official announcement. Afghanistan would join China's Belt and Road Initiative with a new road linking Afghanistan to China through the Wakhan Corridor. By April 2024, plans were already underway for road construction in the corridor, and in August 2024, Chinese diplomats and Taliban officials toured the area to inspect the roadwork that could one day become a key link between Central Asia and China. This isn't just about trade. China has its eyes on security. The Wakhan Corridor's strategic location makes it a critical point for Beijing to monitor the flow of narcotics coming out of Taliban-controlled Afghanistan, as well as the movement of Islamist radicals into China's Xinjiang region, where Beijing has been battling a separatist insurgency for years. In recent years, China has even expanded its military presence in the region. In 2011, China secured land from Tajikistan near the Wakhan Corridor, and by 2016, reports revealed that China was considering establishing a permanent military base in the area, further cementing its growing influence. And while China moves forward with its plans, Pakistan too is eyeing the Wakhan Corridor. On 30th December 2024, Pakistan's intelligence chief, Lieutenant General Asim Malik, made an unannounced visit to Tajikistan. Though unconfirmed, many speculated that this could signal Pakistan's desire to secure access to the Wakhan Corridor, potentially opening a direct trade route to Central Asia and bypassing the troubled relationship with Afghanistan. But the road to controlling the Wakhan Corridor isn't easy. This land may be strategically vital, but it's also incredibly difficult to govern. With China, Pakistan and Taliban all vying for influence, the region is becoming a new front in what some are calling 21st century's great game.
In the grand scheme of things, the Wakhan Corridor is more than just a thin strip of land. It's a key to unlock new trade routes, securing one's borders and asserting one's dominance in one of the world's most volatile regions. As China, Pakistan and the Taliban jockey for control, the outcome of this struggle will reverberate throughout Asia and beyond. While China has not made any military move yet, the 21st century great game for the Wakhan Corridor has already begun. Ragini Sudhir Chore for DD India.